I know what you're thinking, or at least I know what I'd be thinking if I were you looking at this. You probably are someone who just mastered multiplying with fractions, and you feel cool because in the beginning it made your head hurt, and it was weird because you ended up with these products that were smaller than the factors, and it was just not like whole numbers. And when you were multiplying with fractions, at some point you probably realized, wow, this is very dividey. So here we are, and we're going to start dividing with fractions. And you're probably thinking, didn't we do this when we multiplied? Yeah, kinda. And here's the interesting thing. Sometimes when you divide with fractions, it's a little bit like multiplying is with whole numbers. So here's one of those times. Let's say we're using those unit fractions. Remember, unit fraction, any fraction with a numerator of 1. 1 out of whatever denominator. So let's say we need to find out how many 1/6 are in one whole. Well, the picture is easy on this one. So here's our one whole. I drew a bar, and maybe it's a bar of gold, or it's a bar of chocolate, or maybe it's a basketball team. I don't know. But I do know that I'm trying to figure out how many 1/6 are in it. So the good news is we go back to what we already probably know. We divide that one whole into 6 equal parts. Now when I do this, try to make my life a little easier by dividing into thirds, and then I divide each third in half, and then I get, we'll pretend, 6 equal parts. It's pretty close. Not bad. So how many 1/6 are in one whole? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hey, that wasn't so bad. It's not so bad right now. So what does this look like when we're talking about naked numbers? Here's the equation that picture represents, that question represents. We have 1 divided by 1/6. And the picture shows us that's 6 parts. You might be thinking, but we started with 1, and then we divided, and now we have 6. I know, right? I told you, it was going to look like multiplication does with whole numbers. Just remember, look at the picture. You can see it. Now, back in my day, we used to not learn with pictures. We just used to have to memorize rules. The rule, when you're dividing with fractions, literally goes like this. Ours is not to question why. Just invert and multiply. All that means, and this is not the way to learn it, but this might be the way to kind of help you out until your brain wraps around. When I look at 1 divided by 1/6, I have that one whole, and I'm going to invert or switch around the numerator and denominator on my divisor, and you can see 1 times 6, yep, that's 6 all right. Again, that whole just invert and multiply thing is a good shortcut, but the understanding part, right here, my friends, right here. That's fine with the unit fraction, but what happens if we're going the other way? We're not dividing a whole number by a unit fraction, but we're dividing a unit fraction by a whole number. Say, what? So this time, let's take it the other direction. Let's say we've got this equation cooking. 1/2 divided by 4. So we're trying to figure out if I have a half and I divide it in 4 different ways, what have I got going here? I know, don't panic, don't panic. So see here, here's our whole, and it's divided into halves, right? 1/2, 2 halves. Now we need to divide it into 4 equal parts. Now what we're really doing there then is saying, okay, here's my half, divided into 4 equal parts. Now I have to do that over on the other half as well. I've got it, if I'm dividing into 4 equal parts, I'm dividing into 4 equal parts. And now Now, you might be saying, hey, hey, now we've got our one whole is now in 8 equal parts. This is like so true. So if I divide that half into 4 equal parts, what do I get? I kid you not. I get 1/8. 1/8. You can see it, right? Because each of these is going to be an eighth right down the line until we have 8/8. Because we took each half, divided it into 4 equal parts. I know it's kind of crazy. Again, shortcutty thinking. Ours is not to question why. Just invert that divisor and multiply, because when we divide with that whole number, it's really like when we multiply with a fraction. The good news on this one is the answer might sort of make a little more sense in your head because we're dividing and we're ending up with a quotient that is smaller than our dividend. And that's kind of what we're used to in whole numbers. So, the first thing to think about is when we're going to be dividing with a unit fraction involved in the equation, is it the divisor or is it the dividend? And how is that going to change our picture? Don't worry. Watch it again if you need to. And don't panic. And you'll get there. Take your time.